Anger. Anger is behind people pleasing. All right, we did another channeled show, and that answer was something coming through me that was not Dr. Christian Gonzalez talking. And this show is gonna blow your mind. We are answering questions about relationship, about how to be better partners, about how to allow growth in the relationship for yourself and your partner. We are talking about people pleasing. A lot of you out there are people pleasing. We're gonna talk about how to heal the people pleasing and really how to unlock the number one code of being in a relationship. How to let your partner be their most authentic self. Okay, so before I go into the channeled show, I just want to really explain a few things, how my process happened, how it started, and what happens now. Because what I really want is for everyone to understand that we all have the ability to connect to higher self. There's nothing special about channeling. Everyone has the ability to channel. All of you have became intuitive at some point in your life. The more you are connected to your heart, the more you are connected to spirit, the more you're connected to channel. The more you're connected to your head, the more dense you become, and the less your gifts come to the surface. So I talk about this in so many shows that like I saw ghosts as a kid. I've experienced spirits. I would hear them. I would see them as a kid. I grew up kind of terrified of my own home because there was a ghost in my home. And it was scary. There was moments as a kid that I would see the ghost walking around the kitchen, or I would hear it walking around the hallways, and I'd be home alone and I would think it's in my head, and I'd tell my dad about it, and he said, no, it's just noises in the house. But the truth of the matter is there was a ghost, and I've been followed by ghosts. Almost everywhere I lived, I've had ghosts. The more I meditate, I feel ghosts' presence around me. And then when I got into the emotional release work, I was able to use that ability to be very sensitive to the environment to begin to read people. And it worked well for me because I was able to read people's energies before I even worked on them. And then when I worked on them, I would know exactly what their body is asking for, their soul is asking for, and where my hand should be. The true channeling happened actually in a psychedelic experience. That's when it became fully activated. And I remember when I was going through this beautiful experience, I did it by myself. I did mushrooms. And I was going through just like this ego death and seeing like the beauty of who I am and the beauty of nature and the beauty of God, connecting with God more than any prayer I've ever done, connecting with God more than any book I've ever read, like truly like conceptual versus experiential, huge difference. You could tell someone the sky's blue, and until they get out of their basement for the first time and actually see the sky, it's a very different experience. So literally being there with God. And me coming back to my body and seeing my hand in the air, and it's just doing these movements, and I wasn't controlling it. It was going through my body, and my hand was doing these very specific movements. And I go, what's happening? Like, I'm not doing this. Something is taking over my body, and it's doing very specific, I would say maybe mudras and energetic circles. And I didn't ask many questions. It happened again on another psychedelic journey. This was years ago. And then I said, okay, something is activating in my hands. And then it began to happen when I would meditate. And it would begin to happen when I would go through emotional releases. I would go into this place where my hand would in many ways be like an antenna and just taking in this energy, and my whole body would begin moving. And, I haven't done psychedelics in 3 years, but I've sort of gained this wonderful ability to have this hand antenna that does these crazy movements. And it happened in Egypt when actually I was able to like really fully connect and get messages. And now I can write with the hand and I get messages. So it's sort of honed into like this, what is going on? I'm seeing ghosts. I'm sensitive to the environment. I can see things that are not there. And then it's sort of started to collapse and filter into this process where my hand started playing a role. And that's when I started doing emotional releases on people and adding in the energetic healing. And it's incredible. Like before I even do the emotional releases, my hands will go to exactly the part of the body that is holding the most emotional density. And I will feel the opening. I will feel my hand pulling out dense energy from the person. And I'm looking at the person and they're like shaking. It's crazy. But for so many times I've had my hands over a woman's womb and I can feel how dense and painful the womb is. And I can feel my hand just pulling it out and my body's just taking over and blowing it out into the air. So I just wanted to be very clear on this process of what happens, because you might fast forward this and be like, what the fuck is going on with this guy's hands? What is happening? But truly what's happening is I'm moving away my ideas, my thoughts. I'm sort of just allowing myself to get in a synchronized brainwave state, opening that channel, opening my crown, and allowing for whatever energies to flow through my body. And you'll see in this podcast, certain questions are more intense, and it's because there's more energy flowing through my body and giving me answers to speak out. So yeah, I really wish, I really hope that you enjoy this podcast. If it's a little freaky, don't worry about it, but it's cool. It is what it is, and I hope you find value in it. Okay, so welcome everyone to the show. I am ready to channel again. You know, the first channel show, so many of you loved it. And when I say channel, what I mean is that I'm fully open and connected and channeling information that is beyond my brain logic and coming from higher self, higher source. And what I want to do, what I would love to do, is bring clarity and simplicity to many of the health questions that you have around physical health, mental health, spiritual, and emotional health. So I'm going to do my best to remove Christian and all of ego and all of the ways that I see the world and the belief systems around health and wellness, even as a doctor, and to remove myself to give a clear channel for answers for you. And I know that this is unique and it's something that we've done differently, but it's something that warms my heart and sets me on fire. And it's something that I would love to bring to all of you. And hopefully some of you love it. So we're going to do it a little special this time. The last time I just spoke and had words come through me. And today I am going to have my producer in the background behind the cameras just ask. And let me tell you something. We did not prepare. None of this is prepared. There's no questions that I know what he's going to ask. And we're just going to, it's all around health and wellness, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. And we're just going to answer with a clear channel. And I really hope that this is a unique listen for you. And I hope that you find value in all of this. So I open this space to channel. And here we go. Ready for questions now.
Something I've been thinking about, I just watched Inside Out 2 with my wife this week, and just thinking about like people's emotions and balancing like ambition and like goal seeking and trying to like get what you want in life with also like being okay with who you are as a human and like being compassionate and kind to yourself while also trying to push yourself. And I've always struggled with that. My wife has always struggled with that because we like to push each other. How do you kind of find balance in that? Because it feels like two opposites, like pushing away from each other.
Oh, relationships are the greatest mirror for where you are in your own life experience. And it's the barometer that you use to see who and where you are going, who you are and where you are going. The most important part of the relationship is the heart. And having an open heart around the relationship allows more compassion in for yourself, and such creates a space where you can create more of a compassionate atmosphere for your partner. When you allow that space to be had, your partner feels safe to express her own passions and compassions for herself and you, creating a more nurturing space and connection between you both. The pushing is simply your egoic part of you wanting to drive forward through the mind. And the truth of the matter is that when you come from heart fully open, creating the safest space for both of you, the compassions and passions within both of you arise to the surface. And ironically, they are both always in alignment with each other, but it always has to be heart-centric. Couples will always progress in the healthiest ways when they connect with their heart over their head. Okay, next question.
What if we get into like a disagreement about like we're trying to push each other, right? We're trying to grow and trying to be better people, but there's like a disconnect. There's like a sense of like, well, I want you to take more time off, but I really feel like I need to be busting my balls and trying to push and get harder and get better at what I'm doing and build the business. But it's also like I need to be settled and be at present. And I know I need to lead with my heart, but sometimes it's like I feel like I have to also push and use my ego to like grow and like become bigger than who I am. And how do you balance that?
Communication between both parties, heart-centrically, is the most important part to progress within your purpose. We live in a world which values accomplishment and masculine energy of moving forward. So when you allow this masculine energy to move forward, doesn't matter your gender, when we create and we do, we've been given the gift of creation from just nothing to alchemize. When we allow ourselves to be in that space, we must communicate with our partner to be true and real to ourselves and what we want to create in this world. We are creative beings, while creating clear communication with our partner, heart-centrically, where we're at. When our partner hears and digests this information and takes it by his or her own personal heart-centric receiving, the communication between both of you becomes much more clear. For example, if your life purpose is to build your business and to grow and to create more space for people to learn more about themselves and do more of your passion, and it takes away from quality time with your partner, the most important thing then is to speak your truth. But you speak it heart-centrically. This is the part of me and my purpose that sets my soul on fire. And what I need from you, and I love you, what I need from you is just support. I'm going to do my best, as always, when we're together, to stay present with you, heart-centrically, connected to you, heart-centrically. No phones, pure quality time. The woman will feel safety when a man is present. And by allowing that enriched time together, the communication of you doing your thing that sets your soul on fire will always be positively met with love. Again, it's always heart-centric. It's always presence. It's always quality time with love. That's the most enriching process of the relationship that creates a deeper bond such that you can move forward with your own gifts into this world without any judgment. You know, I'm always talking about the importance of clean eating and prioritizing pure, high-quality ingredients in our diets. But it's not just about the foods we eat, it's also about the supplements that we take, especially when it comes to omega-3 fish oils. Here's the thing about fish oil supplements. They come from the ocean, and we all know, unfortunately, because of us and our ignorance, the oceans are polluted. That's why I was so excited when I discovered Peori's O3 Ultra Pure Fish Oil. I've been taking it for a while now, and I got a lot to say. It's been a game changer. What really sets Peori apart is their commitment to purity and transparency. Every single batch of their products is clean certified and third-party tested by the Clean Label Project against more than 200 contaminants. And we're talking about heavy metals and pesticides. And get this, every batch is also IFOS certified with a 5 out of 5 star score, which includes measuring the freshness of the fish oil. I take Peori's O3 every single day. It's right there in my cabinet. I take it especially helping me recover from workouts. And I know I'm getting a potent dose of EPA and DHA, which are crucial for supporting heart health, brain health, eye health, and the peace of mind coming from it being certified and clean. And Peori's O3 has 2,000 milligrams of long-chain omega-3 fatty acids in their natural form. And it's not only certified clean, but it's also certified sustainable. So guess what? You are the Heal Thyself listener, and you get 20% off of their O3 Ultra Pure Fish Oil products. And here's the kicker. You even get 20% on top of the already discounted subscription price. With my code, we're talking about a third off of the price. To get this offer, go to Peori.com and use my code DRG. That is PUORI.com/DRG. Do not miss out on a chance to try a fish oil supplement that you can really trust. I want to talk about something that is often overlooked when we think about our health. That is light. I recently came across a fascinating study, and it basically says that exposure, constant exposure, chronic exposure at night actually significantly increases self-harm from various psychiatric disorders like anxiety, bipolar, depression, and PTSD. Who knew? But here's the thing, it's not just about nighttime light. The study also actually showed that circadian rhythm disturbance is a common feature in many psychiatric disorders. That means that our constant exposure to artificial light could actually be a major risk factor That's why I'm super excited to talk about Raw Optics. They've created premium blue light protection eyewear that is designed to protect us from artificial light, both night and day. And the goal is obviously to realign with nature, how to optimize and function in accordance with nature. I've been using Raw Optic glasses for a while now. I got a lot to say. I notice a real difference. They're the best of the best out there. Don't go to Amazon and get blue blockers. Get good quality ones. Invest in good quality ones. It's better for sleep. It's better for overall energy. I've had the CEO on my show a few times. They work with a lot of high performers. They're known to be the best blue blockers in the industry. And they've put a lot of research into making their glasses, and they're stylish. They're not those goofy ones that you find mostly online. So if you're interested in trying out Raw Optics for yourself, I got a special order for you. Go to rawoptics.com/DRG and use the code DRG. You're going to get 10% off of any Raw Optics stylish frames. That is RAOPTICS.com/DRG. Get yourself some blue blockers. Watch how it's going to change your circadian rhythm. Watch how it changes your health.
Sort of staying in the lines of like relationship and being with each other. Kind of a specific anecdote is that most nights I try and go to bed early, and I always try to push my wife to go to bed early with me. But sometimes she wants to stay up and do her own thing. But I like kind of going to bed at the same time. And I never know how much I should be pushing, because I think it's healthy to go to bed early. I think it's healthy to go to bed on time, but I also need to like respect her and respect her space. I'm not really sure what to do in a lot of these scenarios.
Allow a person to be. Allow the person to be. People will need their own quality solo time. Allow a person to be. Do not instill your judgments on the people around you. Whether or not something is healthy in your eyes may not be healthy for their physiology. And maybe they know what's best, and maybe they know what they want. Maybe they need time to themselves. Create a space of non-judgment. Create a space of love. Create a space of understanding, and notice how it feels to do the thing that you think you should be doing in partnership with the partner alone. And what does that create within you? What discomfort does it create within you? And can you allow that discomfort of what you think is the right way, or what you think your partner should fall into? Can you allow that discomfort to come up and embody what it's trying to show you? The part of you that needs to be healed the most. So when you allow your partner to just be, allow your partner to just embody the part of them that they want to embody. See, the most beautiful part is when we don't bring judgment to our partners and we allow our partners the spaciousness to embody who they are without pushing. Ironically, the very thing that we want to promote in the most positive way comes to the surface and begins to be promoted. So the key then is to allow our partners, our lovers, to be. Even if we know they can eat better, they can sleep better, they can work out better, meet them with love, meet them without judgment, do things with them with healthier lifestyles, but allow them to be where they are. Because that acceptance energy that they feel coming from you creates the spaciousness for positive change. Next question.
I think I want to be there, and I want to do what you're saying and let go, but I guess I struggle because like I see it so clearly. I see the path ahead of how I want to make myself better, and I'm trying to do those things. And it's like I want to be in partnership with her to do those things together, rather than just doing them in silos. So like how do I manage that and not just feel like I'm like just trying to be myself in a silo, and then she's trying to be her best self in a silo? How do we like work together on that? Personal goals and personal motivation is so important to me. And then like if it's not important to my partner, and it's like I just got to let them be, right? Like you're saying. But if that happens, my worry, my fear is that we would grow apart because we're not growing together.
This is a trap that many partners fall into, is that they want to embody and grow themselves thinking that they're growing apart. Ironically, is the more that you are in your embodied, heart-centric, passionate purpose in life, the more you are igniting that by virtue of osmosis, being together with your partner within them. You see, two life purposes don't have to diverge. They can always converge if it's heart-centric, if there's communication, if there's love, if there's support, if there's celebration of the partner. The fear in being alone and going your own path and being left alone with your partner going their own path or not even finding their own path is a fear that's made up by the ego. The truth of the matter is, when there's a bond between two partners who are in love and who are in a lovership and connected and have spaciousness that is heart-centric in the relationship, both embodied in purpose, both allowed the autonomy to be their highest selves within the relationship and the autonomy of growing as themselves within the relationship, creates the spaciousness for both parties to grow in themselves and within the relationship. Very much so possible. Again, it comes down to heart-centric communication. My lover, here is what I feel in my life, and here's the embodiment, and here's the purpose that drives forth my soul, and here's the fire that I feel. I love you. Can you support me in this journey I'm going through? Yes, I can. I love you, and I'm feeling the same way, except I want to do this. Can you allow me and support me in this journey? Yes. Clear, heart-centric communication will, without a doubt, create the spaciousness for both of you to grow in relationship and alone. The most important thing, alone and in relationship. There's three bodies: your body, your partner's body, and the relationship body. All three need to be nurtured. All three need heart-centric, clear communication. And when those are met, it doesn't matter the purpose, it doesn't matter the geography, it doesn't matter anything. All parties will grow together.
Something that I've been thinking about a lot lately, which has been coming up in our relationship, but is more about me, is I'm a bit of a people pleaser. If I don't give someone what they want, or I fail, or I feel that I fail in some way, it really shuts my nervous system down. It really affects me, and then I can't be there for my partner. And it happens a lot more so with work than with personal relationships. Like if I feel like I didn't do a good job, or a client is unhappy with the result that I got, it like physically affects me. I don't really know how to deal with that. I'm trying to get better at it, but it's still just an immediate reaction that I get.
Anger. Anger is behind people pleasing. When the anger is repressed and not allowed to be witnessed by the person and judged and loved, you cannot be loved by expressing the anger. The body compensates with people pleasing. The ego protects you from expressing that anger. People pleasing is the clearest compensation for repressed anger. When that anger is not met, that fire is not met, one will show up in people pleasing, in the fear of being judged for their own anger, in the fear of angering another, and in the fear of ultimate abandonment. So always the remedy for every people pleaser, whoever listens to this show, whoever watches this show, always the remedy for every people pleaser is to come in contact with the eternal fire that you have within you that is burning, that is driven by the gasoline of anger. We are all allowed to be angry. Anger, in its purpose, is supposed to create boundaries. And the more that we abandon our own boundaries every single time, even when they're very soft, the first sight of anger, the first whisper of anger, when we abandon that, it becomes louder and it becomes louder. And we don't express the anger, it becomes more and more repressed. The truth of the matter is that anger allows us to create boundaries within our own human integrity. And when we move away from our integrity, we repress that anger, we lose our boundaries, and then we become people pleasers. So, to come into contact with that anger, one must first come into contact with the internal fire that is driven by anger. Every person has it, even if it is a tiny little matchstick fire. When you connect to that anger that is in the middle of your body, at your core, near your belly, when you connect to that anger and allow it to begin to grow, bringing awareness allows it to grow. Just knowing it's there allows it to grow, and allow it to embody. Then you begin to connect with the sounds and the movement and the expression that has never been allowed, that has been protected by people pleasing. And when you allow that anger to express full body with sweat, with redness, with intensity, then you will see your compensation and protection for people pleasing, others, business, friends, goes down and down and down, and your boundaries go up and up and up and up. That is the key to letting go of people pleasing.
Yeah, it's funny that you say anger, because that's something I've never been in touch with as much. Because growing up, I saw a lot of anger, and so I learned to stay away from it. And my wife always makes fun of me because we never get into fights, because I don't really get angry ever. And so by what you're saying, like, I get it. I know I need to get in touch with it, but like I'm scared to because I don't want to be an angry person. And that's one of my biggest fears, is to be an angry person. So how do I balance like getting in touch with it without letting it become part of me and be triggered and all of a sudden become an angry person or be angry in certain situations that might come up?
The biggest fault that we have in anger and repression is not understanding that we are angry people as we are joyous people. We are angry people as we are loving people. When we repress the part of us that is us, then we repress almost all of us. One must understand that the expression of anger does not collapse your full embodiment of a human being as angry. It's a part of you. And when you repress a part of you, you repress many, many parts of you. The truth of the matter is when you allow anger to be fully expressed through the body with your voice in strength, with your body open with that eternal fire flame being gasped by anger, and you express it in a healthy way, not taking it out on someone, but you express it in your room alone. You express it on a pillow alone, on a bed alone. You express it in your car alone. You begin to connect to the intensity of your voice. You begin to realize and allow that anger in itself expressed is power. Healthy power is healthy anger. Repressed anger is toxic power. When you connect to the repressed anger and allow it to become expressed anger, that expressed anger becomes expressed power. A man in his power is a man in his boundaries. A man in his power is a man who speaks up for himself. A man in his power is a man who can connect to his partner with an open heart. The felt experience of a woman to a man in anger or in his power is that of a masculine balance. A man who's connected to his power with an open heart, but is not afraid to express anger to himself and express it intensely. You see, our expression, our experience with anger in the world is anger towards us, especially as children. And anger is the most intense of all emotions, anger and rage. So we as children become compressed, repressed, scared, and disconnected from our family in anger. And we experience loneliness. We experience helplessness. We experience abandonment. Anger in itself, inherently, the experience of most people with anger is the most toxic expression of anger and therefore a toxic expression of power. When we allow ourselves to see the repression and the reservoir of anger that we have, we begin to connect back to our own inherent power. We begin to speak our truth, we begin to speak our boundaries, and we begin to connect to our power, especially as men. Understanding that power and anger are two sides of the same coin. And understanding that our anger is a part of us, not all of us, but a part of us. And you cannot be more love, you cannot be more joy, you cannot be more happiness without allowing in that anger. You will always hit a small ceiling every single time. And when you allow that anger and it's expressed, you open up that ceiling for more joy, more love, more creativity, more success, more abundance. The key to so much of our power comes in allowing ourselves to express our boundaries and anger with our voice and our truth. Ooh, okay. Some words that come through for this show and channeling is, again, how important the heart is into relationships. And many of you listening are in relationships, and many of you are getting into a relationship. Many of you are married for years. Many of you have kids. But I cannot state and emphasize more how important it is to connect to the heart. The heart will lead you to every single part of whatever you wanted to experience in this lifetime. We have learned so fast how to disconnect from our heart. We have learned so fast how to drop into our mind instead of our heart, pulling all of our awareness away from the heart into the mind. And when we live in the mind is when we live in the fear, when we live in the repressed anger and the repressed guilt and the shame, and we don't allow ourselves to fully express who we are. There's people out there who are looking for purpose, and it's in your heart. There's people out there who are looking for their first partner who really loves them. That's in the forgiveness for the many people that you're holding resentment for in your heart before you even attract that. There's people here who are looking for more abundance. Well, how is money and abundance going to come to someone who with a closed heart? When your heart is open and you're allowing the gratitude for the wealth you already have in the form of lovers in your life, in the form of partners in your life, in the form of great relationships, in the form of good food, when you're allowing in that wealth of what you already have, then you're allowing in that energy of financial abundance. So many of us are so lost in life and looking for so many books and so many gurus and so many courses and so many everything, without ever coming back to ourselves and going, okay, well, if I have every answer, then how do I connect to it? Well, you drop into your heart. You begin to create a practice to feel for your heart. What do I not think in this moment, feel in this moment? The more important question in your life is, what do I feel of, not what do I think of? What do I feel about this moment? What do I feel about this person? What do I feel about getting into this car right now? Is this true for me? What does my body want? What does my soul want? Because we're so driven by what does the mind want? Where do we want to go with our heads? What should I be doing? What could I be doing? What would I be doing? And we lose our truth, and our truth comes into our body. There we will be led with every single decision we make from our heart to the truth of what our soul wants to experience, and that is your purpose. Purpose. You want a healthier life? Live in your purpose. You want healthier relationships? Live in your purpose. You want to feel good in your body? Live in your purpose. When you are living outside of your purpose and you are living in your head, you are driving your soul to the ground. It is condensed. It is weighed by 1,000 blankets. Come back to your heart. Allow your heart to open up. Don't be afraid to open it up and cry. Don't be afraid to open it up and tell someone you haven't told them you love them in a long time. Tell them you love them. And when you allow your heart to open up, I promise you will receive every answer you've been looking for. Isn't it empowering to understand and know that we have everything always available to us the more that we drop into what is needed? And that is the gift that we have with us all the time, better than any doctor, better than any blog, better than any book, better than any supplement, better than anything out there. It's you. You're the medicine. And the more that you think you're not, the more that you believe you're not. But the truth of the matter is you are the medicine. And the more you lean into that, the more you realize it. And that, my friends, is the channeled show. I really hope that you like that one. I'm sweating a lot right now. So that was really fantastic. And thank you to producer Jason behind the cameras for asking such open-hearted questions. I really hope that you, I'm back on earth. I really hope that you resonated with this and that it actually you felt it in your body. Listen from your heart to these shows. And I love doing channeled shows, and I'm just leaning into something that I've been gifted with since I was a kid, and finally, without fear, and giving it to all of you. So I think the next time it could be kind of fun to receive questions from all of you and then answer them in the channeled show. Ooh, that would be great. All right, listen, for all of you who've been with the show since day one or since just the last show, I got love for you. Thank you for joining the show. Heal Thyself, Dr. G.